Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good morning. I hope and pray that you're well. It's super early for you guys today. I decided to try a few different times and see what works for everyone. So you should have received an email just a few minutes ago. I actually confused the timings with mine. I actually wanted to go live in about another hour, but it's okay. I'll do the live now, and then whenever you guys can see it, please do watch. Hashtag replay. Let us know if you have any questions. We will come back to them, inshallah. And just know, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi adila. How are you? You okay? So if you're interested in anything to do with children, to do with getting targets for them, I've had so many questions this week, but most of them have been about exams and how to get them better grades next time and things like that. But if you've got any kind of questions, like what do you want to know about, what do you want to learn about from us, between Iram and I, mashallah, we've got 40 years of parenting experience. And then if you include all of the other team members, Yusra, Amina, Aisha, who have I missed out? Farida. Between us, we've got like at least 120 years, alhamdulillah, of parenting experience, mashallah. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is because all of us have been on different routes in different types of parenting, different kinds of education with our kids, different types of work situations. So between us, we will be able to help you. But we can't help you if you don't tell us where you need the help. So if you want to suggest titles for our Friday Faith mornings, inshallah, do let us know. And if you want any questions answered personally, then if you look at the bottom there, you can have a look in the description box for links on how to contact us and how to grab our free guides and our free help, and also the paid help if you want it. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, Adila. Hope you're well too, inshallah. So yesterday I was teaching the virtual assistants, and one of the sisters asked me if I could do a video on back to school, getting ready for back to school, and making sure that everyone in the household is ready for the new routine and the new system. I don't know how long you guys have been off on holiday, but we are starting somewhere around our 10th week of the kids being at home. So it's been a long time. And for sure, a lot of our routines have been thrown out the window. First, because we were away, we weren't at home. And then we somewhat got into a routine because we ended up booking a hotel with breakfast, and that really stressed the kids out. They had to get up a bit earlier for that one, so we had to sleep earlier. That didn't really happen. And then we came back here, and there's just been a lot going on. Plus, for the weather outside, it makes more sense to be out during the evening times and indoors in the daytime because it's super hot. So just think about your routine as it is now and how that would have to change for you guys to go back to school. So for us, for sure, the back to school routine is going to be completely different to the one we have right now. So I have started bringing their bedtimes forward. So just, a couple of weeks before school starts again, which is about now, start bringing the bedtimes a little bit earlier. So if they're going to sleep at 11, 12, whatever, start bringing it down to 10, 11, start bringing it a little bit earlier each day so that they get the rest that they need. This doesn't work for us in terms of just bringing the bedtime early. They're just going to be upstairs in bed, playing around, shouting around until their normal bedtime. So the only way that I get to do it is if I get them up early and we get out of the house and we go and do something. So the first couple of days is a lot of work for you because you got to get them up in the morning, get them out of the house, get them to do something so that by the time they come back and it's nighttime, then they can have that rest that they need. Again, don't go too far, because I've made that mistake before. When you go about 30-40 minutes drive away, which, by the way, for us, that's where I have to go, they do sometimes end up sleeping in the car, and then everything just goes on its bottom. Just flips belly up. So the main thing is to just get their bedtimes back to normal, right? The second thing that is really important is the morning routine. So start to think about, and even list it if you want to, just write it down. What kind of things do you have to get done in the mornings? Now, I'm notorious for this. Like, I'll get them ready. I'll make sure that the lunches are done, the uniforms are done, and whatever. But sometimes I'll mix up the days of the PE days. Sometimes I'll forget, oh, they had a cooking thing today, or they had to bring in something today, or whatever. And it really did used to stress me out. So now we have a notice board, and they have to chuck everything on there. Sometimes I have used the fridge in the past, but what happens with the fridge is, because it's like a high traffic place with opening and closing, sometimes the letters just fly off and things like that. So probably somewhere just before you're about to leave, just have a quick look at what they have to do. You know, they might have an assembly they need a costume for. They might have, I'm sure you guys know what all the different weird things that schools need. They need some recycling stuff. Now they need, some whatever. So as soon as you get that letter, as soon as you get that notice, and it says in 2 weeks we will need XYZ, at that point get a box near the door, chuck whatever it is that they need in there, so that on the day it is right near the door. And even if you do forget, it's easy. You just come back, grab it, and give it back to them. So it's a lot easier for you. I think it's really important to do the lunches at night time if you're doing packed lunch. If you're doing, if there's something like you want them to be showered every day, especially in the summer, that's super important here. In the winter, I do let them go like a day between showers, because they're still little. By the way, I'm talking about the 7 to 10-year-olds here. Get them up, getting them to get dressed, and getting out of the house on time. Now, the breakfast, I feel that's a bit questionable, because it's up to you as a family how you do it. For us, we have to be out of the house and at school by 6:30. The kids start at 7 and the teachers start at 6:30. So our kids are at school at 6:30, which is really early for them. So what I'll do is I'll give them a little snack that they could have from 6:30 to 7, or the school starts at 7. 7. And then they'll have a break time around 8:30, and that's when they normally eat like their morning meal, because before that they don't feel like eating. And I'm not the kind of parent that forces them to do things. I think you've known that about me. So just work out, when are they feeling hungry, when would they need a snack, and if it means that they're going to have their first meal of the day at school, just pack them something. Just make it a good a lunch, like, fill up their lunchbox with stuff. I'm sure that a lot of us struggle with lunches, and I feel like I've shared this story before, but my sister and my cousin were talking about lunches, and they were talking about sometimes I just give them a salmon roll, and sometimes I make them sushi and whatnot. I don't know what they were talking about. And I was just like, okay, I'm not getting involved in this conversation. And they asked me, and I said, no, yeah, it's okay. I give them a lunch. Don't worry about it. And then obviously I did feel a bit embarrassed about it. I'm not going to lie. But I was like, sometimes I just give them a sandwich, I give them cereal bars, I give them cheese strings. Like, I do give them stuff that I can just buy that's easy to put together in the morning. And the thing is that at the time, I probably didn't consider that I was a working mum and they weren't. But now that I'm kind of giving myself grace, I'm allowing myself to be busy. I'm allowing myself to not have to worry. I think, was it 2 or 3 years ago, I threw away the sandwich cutters that I used to do for the kids every day. And you know what? Like, I started saving the bread and not throwing it away as well, and things like that. It is really important to not kind of follow the trend so much that you must do this, right? So as long as you're packing them something really healthy, not really, it doesn't have to be really healthy, sorry. As long as you're packing them something really nutritious and they've got a lot of nutrition in it, that's perfect. The boys, my boys love to get the sandwich meats. So like the slices of the chicken, the smoked, I think it's smoked chicken, turkey, stuff like that. They love that. That's super easy to put on a sandwich. Bit of mayonnaise, bit of lettuce, you're sorted, right? So there's certain things that you can do that are quite quick and easy for you. And I have in the past sent them to school with jam butties. I don't know what you guys call them. Do you call them jam sandwiches, depending on where you're from? And, you know, just make it easy for yourself. Don't make it like a huge deal that you have to give them a gourmet lunch, right? One of the cutest things that I've done is probably grab post-its and write little notes to them. But again, I don't do it every day. It's only when I have the post-its near me and a pen near me and I'm in the mood and I can write it down. It doesn't have to be every single day. But again, it just gives them something fun to look at. And one tip that I can give you is that I give them, instead of give them yogurt in a pot, because yogurt's a really good one that gives them a dose of calcium, right, as well. Instead of giving it in the pot, I normally get the packets, right? And I don't know what the brands are called in UK. Is it Froops? I think so. But basically you just get the it's like a long packet. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. And they can just kind of eat it from there. And what I do is I freeze them so that when they get to school, it kind of melts during the day, so it's still quite cold, and they're quite happy with that. Also, you can do that with some of the drinks. You can freeze them so that when they get to school, it's not too bad. Or what you can do with the water is put a little bit of water in and freeze that, and then add more water during the day, in the morning when they get up, so that they've got like a block of ice that's slowly melting into the water, and again, keeping it cool. Depending on your school, you might have water coolers and things like that hanging around, but if you don't, this is really important. The last thing is to leave the house on time. So get them ready, get them out on time. Depending on how many kids you have to get ready, you kind of work backwards, don't you, as to what time you have to wake up, what time you have to start getting ready yourself, getting each child ready, and so on. But then obviously make sure that you do that. And I know that it's difficult sometimes to get out of the house on time, even if you have woken up early. And I used to say to my kids, how is it weird that the day we wake up really early, we actually spend more time? It's because psychologically you're thinking to yourself, oh, I've got an hour yet. I've got half an hour yet. Oh, I've got plenty of time. But when you wake up, exactly half an hour before you have to get there, you're in a rush because I've got 30 minutes, I need to do da and get it done. So try to enforce that with yourself. Another easy tip is to put your alarm clocks 5 minutes early. Not alarm clocks, sorry, the clocks downstairs before you're leaving. Put them 5 minutes early so that the kids are like, Mom, it's time to go now, right? So that even if you leave in a couple of minutes, you're still on time. And it's really important for their future job prospects and professional life to be on time to things. So it's a good habit to instill in them quite early to get up, get ready, and go out and be on time. When we want to go out, wherever we're going, whether it's a family outing or something else, they ask us, what time do we need to be ready by? So we give them a time, like, right, guys, everyone needs to be ready by 2:00, and then say at 1, I'll start going, guys, 2:00 we're leaving, are you starting to get ready? Just making sure that they're on track. Now, this is one of the most difficult things, I think, for parents, because if we keep on giving them reminders, we feel like we're nagging them. And if we don't give reminders, they won't do it until they get ready. So there's got to be like a little bit of a balance here, depending on the age of the child, depending on what they've done before. Have they in the past been late for things? Have they in the past been on time? Start thinking about, okay, does this child need more reminders or less reminders than the other one? So then you can work it out and you can be like, oh yeah, I need to remind this kid a lot more than the other kid, so that you get a bit of a balance in reminding them and not nagging them, if that makes sense, right? Plus, what you can do is model getting ready yourself. So my kids know, like, when I get my scarf on, they start asking me, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you going out? Where are you going? Sometimes I might just be praying. Sometimes I might be going out, and they'll be curious. They'll be like, wait, where are you going? Wait, I want to go with you. Oh, I have to get ready now. Those kind of cues are really good. Maybe things like, go and grab your socks now, things like that. I don't know about you guys, but socks do my head in. Socks are like the thing that just stress me out. So what we have now is we have socks in a smaller size for the two younger kids, socks in a bigger size for all the teenagers and the adults, and we have 2 boxes downstairs in one of the shelving cupboards. It's those pull out, you know what I mean? Those, they call them totes in America. I don't know what they call them in UK, but those boxes that you put onto the shelf. I might put a picture in their parenting WhatsApp and their Facebook, so you know what I'm talking about. But we have those 2 boxes, and they have socks in them for each age group, and that's where the socks go. I don't put socks in their rooms anymore. I don't separate them out. I don't worry about them. There's a pile of black socks, pile of white socks in both of them. So if they want white, they've got a pair. If they want black, they've got a pair. And that's it. And there's no rushing around. So if they've, come downstairs without their socks on, there's no rushing back up. There's no need. It's there. Just pull it out. In the same way, in the same unit, I also have their PE bags in there, and I'll chuck anything that they need. So like homework books, library books, they're all in that same unit. So it doesn't stress me out in terms of like I have to go around the house looking for things. If I find them during the week, I'll pop them in the same place so that they are there. Okay, so I hope that gives you a good start in your back to school routines. Obviously, there's going to be things that you have to get ready when it's a holiday and you're going back to school. So you might have to check out the uniforms. So we do like a uniform trying on day where I check what fits them still and what doesn't, what they need. But to be honest, I've done that already because I've gone to the UK and got it all. You guys, if you are in the UK, you're going to probably have to go and maybe do that stuff now. But again, as long as you know what they need, then you can go out and buy exactly what they need, and you don't have to worry and you don't have to guess, like, does that fit them, does that not fit them, and so on. I will write down the current sizes in my notes, and I will write down the sizes that I had before, so that it just gives me an idea of what size I need to get for the next item. So like in some of the things, my 7-year-old is in a 10-year-old size because mashallah, she's quite tall. In some of the things, she's in her normal size. So again, you just gotta gauge it and think about what you need. Don't make the mistake that I made. I bought some really weird shirts the other day. I think that obviously they are needed for different kids, but they were like for kids that couldn't maybe do their buttons, so they had Velcro, which didn't really work for my son, right? So just make sure that you get the right stuff. Online shopping is my best friend. You guys all know that, but obviously you guys pick whatever's best for you. I would say to you, the earlier you shop, the better. But obviously, it depends on when you want to go, what you want to do, and what your plans are. So just get there quick. And if not, just get it online. It's so much easier to get it online. And most of the shops now, they've got good return policies. So you can try it all on at home and then just go and return it. And then you're fine. It's not even a problem, right? within the school supplies, this one stresses me out a lot. Again, because I feel like I buy so many pens, so many pencils, so many erasers and so on. So now we have a spare stationery tray and I chuck the extras in there. So if I buy a pack of pencils, they'll take like 2 or 3 out of there. The rest of it goes in that spare box. Oh, excuse me, I haven't got any stationery for them this year, so that is one thing I have to do. But it's in one of the trays in the room upstairs, and basically you can pop in spare packs of whatever you need, so you don't have that rush which we had a couple of times last year with my son. Mom, I don't have any blue pens left, I need a pen for tomorrow. And then there's a hunt around the house and the girls are like, I don't want to give him my pen, he always loses them. You have all of that going on. And especially with the kids at secondary, they need their own stuff, right? So just always have like a spare drawer with spares in there of everything. I have like spare PE stuff, spare costumes, spare trainers, whatever, because all that will always be a deal. I've had them leave their shoes at school. I've had them leave trainers at school. I've had them leave PE kits at school and not even notice until the next time they need them, which obviously is stressful, right? So what you need to do is just be organized at home and get all of these systems in place so that if there's any of these issues, you can sort it out. I've had stuff that stresses me out again. And I say stress with a smile because I don't mean like I'm on the edge of my seat and I'm shouting and screaming. And I just mean like it's something that's like, oh, really? Do you really need that? Like these blue days and red days and green days and pink days, like, there'll always be that green t-shirt they had that you've just thrown away, you've just donated it, and then the next week they have a green day, and then you start stressing about, oh, I have to go and get them a green shirt, right? So all of those kind of things, have it in your mind. So as you're doing shopping for their normal clothes, think about things that can double up for the different things, right? So like if they have a lot of blue t-shirts, just grab a couple of green ones as well. Grab a red one because there's going to be the breast cancer day or whatever for the boys, and pink for the girls. Just kind of have an idea in your head, right? I'm going to need these things during the year, so just grab them as you can during the previous year. I am really bad at doing this, but again, it's a good bit of advice to label everything. So this year we did get some stickers. I have bought name labels before. I bought the iron-on ones. I bought the ones. So I have done it in the past, but again, sometimes it just gets really tedious and you have to keep doing things over and over. So just put their names in. Just write their names, grab a marker, write their names, just so that you know that if they do lose something and they go to lost property, they'll be able to find it. And normally they can find things in lost property. It's just when people have actually taken their stuff. And I remember Aisha, my second daughter, had gone to school for like a term or something and lost her cardigan. And she was like, I don't have a cardigan, whatever. And obviously it takes time for me to get her a new one, whatever. I think it took me maybe a month or two to find her a replacement. Got the replacement, gave it to her. She was at school. And then for some reason, everyone took their cardigans off for something. And she noticed that another girl had been wearing her cardigan the whole time. So she was like, hey, that's mine, because it had her name in it. So she knew, right? So it does help. And then that girl, I think she found her cardigan somewhere else. Okay, so we've talked about the meal prep and the breakfasts. So just make sure that the options are easy, that there's something that the kids will like to eat. Like, you don't want to have friction in the morning. You don't want to have, Mom, I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat that. She had this. You don't want any of that in the morning. So like, even what my mum used to do is put everything on the table, and we used to pack our own lunches so that if that day we didn't feel like, a particular snack, or a particular thing, we didn't have to take it. So she would put it all on the table. So you basically just chose what you wanted. So you grab your sandwich, grab your crisp, grab your banana, and off you go, or your apple, whatever you've chosen to have. So that might be another way to do it as well. Now, one of the reasons that I think I was asked to do this video yesterday was because of the mum feeling a little bit anxious about her kids going to school. And the kids also sometimes feel anxious about going to school. And I'm not going to lie, teachers do too. A lot of us, the first night before school, will hardly sleep, and we'll be like, oh, what's it going to be like tomorrow, and what's happening, and did I get the time right, will I wake up on time? So again, if everyone's going to be feeling that way, then you can let your kids know, don't worry, everyone's going to feel like that. Everyone's going to have a few butterflies in their stomach, especially the first day after a big long holiday like this. You might be starting with a new teacher, there might be new classmates, one of your old classmates might have gone. Again, triggers back feelings of my daughter. I think for the last 2 weeks of school. So I think one of the mums had taken her daughter out of school early, not because they were going back to America forever, but she just wanted to take her out a couple of weeks early to go back to visit family or whatever. And my daughter took that to mean that Fatima was leaving school. So the entire holiday was like she would be fine, and then all of a sudden she'd burst into tears, but Fatima's leaving and Fatima's gone. And I was really like, I don't know Fatima, I don't know her number, I don't know. She hasn't mentioned her hardly during the year. She's not been anyone that's been to any of our play dates. I didn't know how to get in touch with her. And you can imagine my relief when Fatima actually was in the playground and ran to Aisha on the first day of school, and Aisha was so ecstatic, and I was like, oh my God, I met the mom, I took her number. I was like, our girls are really bonded here. Can we just keep in touch? Because she was stressed out that you weren't coming back. So things like that, especially if they have friends from the year before, maybe you can plan a play date with their friends just before they all go back. Maybe you can go out together with the mums, just kind of, validate their feelings, feel like that, don't worry, it's going to be fine. You'll be in a new class. There'll be other friends with you. Again, sometimes the primary teachers, they mix up the classes, don't they? So the next year they're in a different class than their classmates. So again, just reassure them that they'll see their friends in the playground and they'll see their friends, but at least you're going to be in a classroom with, some of your friends that you like. And I know that in primary, they do care about their friendship groups and try to keep them together. It's kind of funny actually, because in secondary we try to separate the friendship groups because they end up like talking all the way through classes and stuff. But in primary we try to keep the friendship groups together. It's just one of those other weird things about school, right? And then the same thing about yourself. If you've been homeschooling for a while and your kids are going to go back to school now, you might be thinking, that I failed my kids. I haven't been able to homeschool them. Why wasn't I able to homeschool? And, homeschooling is not for everyone. Homeschooling is hard. It's not easy. It's not the easiest thing to do. It's just that sometimes you feel like it is the best thing for your family at the time. And when it doesn't stay as the best thing for your family at that time, and it's time for them to go to school, you need to work through your emotions, maybe write down your feelings, maybe talk to your husband, talk to your family about it and say, look, I wanted to homeschool them and I feel really sad about it. Get them to help you and work through your worries so that when it's time for the kids to go to school, they will feel positive. And always talk about school in a very positive light. Things like what they do at school is they want to establish routines, right? So they want the kids to come in, put their lunch boxes in a certain place, put their coats in a certain place. They want to get out their books. These guys have I can't remember what it's called, SORN book, that they have to pull out every day, where they've just got loads of practice stuff to do. So if they get to school early, like mine do, they have to work through this so that until the teacher's ready to start the lesson. So just get the routines ready. So if you've got a routine at home and the child knows what the routine is, they'll be able to fit into a school routine better because they'll be used to the routines, right? Now, I'm sure that most of you don't need me to tell you this, but if you do end up taking your kids to school, and then you've got some time to yourself now, so you can prioritize yourself. Maybe after you've taken the kids to school, go for a walk. Maybe you still have babies or toddlers at home, and you can finally give them that one-to-one time. Maybe read a book in the morning, maybe do something, do a course, learn something new. And the thing is that, again, even if the kids are at school, there is that whole agenda that people are passing through at the moment, but you need to keep on top of it. You need to keep knowing what's going on and what's going on at your school, keeping in touch with the school teachers, keeping in touch with the school, so the school understands the ethos of the parents, what they will allow, what they won't allow, what they accept, what they don't accept, so that you're so that you don't feel so guilty about sending them to school. Because sometimes for the stage of life that you're at, it might be that that's your only option. You don't feel like, oh, everyone says you should homeschool, Sara says you should homeschool, so that's what you should do. For myself, I've told you guys very clearly, I did homeschool my kids for a long time. But then when we came to an area where there was no activities for them unless they were registered at the school, we then put them in. We do feel comfortable with the school. It's a community school, and a lot of the teachers are our friends, so we know them. We get to talk to them. We get these conversations, right? And we've noticed that when the child is in a class where we know the teacher, everything's more smoother, everything's more comfortable. Where we haven't had that good relationship with the teacher, that's where we get the rocky relationships with the school, right? So again, when you are sending your children to school, be really open with the class teachers, especially at primary. You get time to have a little quick conversation, a hello, a bye-bye at the door. If you want to have meetings with them, you can always go and meet with them. You can even wait until all the kids have been picked up and then go and have a meeting with the parent, with the teacher separately, right? So there's lots of things that you can do as a parent to get involved with the kids. But also, once the kids are at school, think about yourself, think about your self-care. Rather than scrolling on social media, which I know that a lot of us are very guilty of, maybe you want to do a bit of your own Quran, your own learning about the deen, your own groups, maybe networking. So on Friday, so next Friday at this time, 9:30 to 11, there will be a book club, an online book club. You can come in. We'll be talking about a book that Amy Porterfield has written, 2 weeks notice. And then the week after, we have a back to school bonus book club, where we'll be talking about self-care and gratitude and taking care of yourself, and basically looking after yourself, filling your cup so that you can help others, right? Help your family, basically. So we'll be doing that. So the next 2 weeks, we've got amazing book clubs for you to come and join. Definitely look after yourselves, like I said. And if you want to learn how to do something new, join our virtual assistance course. The next one will start in October. We've got one currently going, and we've got some amazing work coming out of there. And I think the sisters this week, they said that they were going to share in the WhatsApp group how they're feeling and what they've enjoyed about the first 3 weeks. So that's amazing as well, right? And then remember to be realistic about your expectations. So, they're not going to wake up on time without any coaxing and cajoling. It might be a bit chaotic the first couple of weeks while you're getting used to the whole new routine, right? But give yourself grace, give them time to adjust. They might not be jumping out of bed in the first few weeks, but then as time goes on, they'll get used to it. They'll get more and more into it. They'll be happy. They'll be like, oh, Mom, I did this today, and Mom, I did that today. And that is really important. The after school talking to them. So like when you're in the car, driving back with them, if you're walking back with them, to just give them that attention and ask them, what was school like? What did you do? Because at this age, from 5 to 11, they will tell you every single thing, and they'll want to tell you every single thing. And I've had Hafsa try to tell me stuff where I've been busy because I might have had tuition, or she might have had swimming, and I've got to get her ready and dressed and off to the next activity. And then I've had her at night time, and I've gone, why are you not going to sleep? And she said, because I've been waiting all day, Mummy, to tell you this, and you didn't listen to me. So, they want to tell you all of these things. With the others, when they get older, into their teens, they're like, oh, yeah, it was all right. And that's it. Right? Okay, so try to make your meal times the time where everyone shares what happened during the day, even if it's something random like, oh, you know what, the postman came today and he delivered the wrong parcel, blah 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 blah, whatever happened. And that happened to us in the UK and England, right? Okay, so just get the what was I going to say to you? Yeah, so just talk about the mundane things, talk about the interesting things, make dinner time that time where you all just converse about everything that's happened. It's a time for the family to sit together, because as they get older, they will want to try to do things by themselves. They will have a lot of homework, they'll have maybe tuition, and they'll have things going on in the evening. So that dinner time is like a really special time where you can all get together and eat together and talk, right? Keep the communication open with your kids. Obviously, plan ahead, stay organized, and try and make it a really super enjoyable experience. I really hope that you enjoyed today's live. If you have any questions about anything that I've said, if you want me to elaborate, this is your chance to ask me now. And while you're thinking of your questions, I'll let you know that we have our 5th annual parenting conference coming up. Oh my God, I am so excited about this, inshallah. We will have amazing guest speakers, and you will also have the usual faces, your Parenting Tribe team members, inshallah. We are also launching a brand new version of the Inner Tribe that's coming soon as well. So just keep your eyes open. We've been working super hard over the summer holidays. You have no idea the amount of things that we've been doing. And inshallah, it's going to be amazing. What we would like is for the entire conference to be absolutely free. So if you have a look in the description box below, we're selling a summer holiday guide for just £1, because if everyone that's in the Parenting Tribe buys this for £1, we will be able to put on an amazing conference, inshallah. Some of the speakers are asking somewhere around £2,500. Some of the speakers are asking for around between £500 and £1,000. So depending on how much money we raise, and inshallah, we'll be able to put on a brilliant conference. And what we're planning is that the entire conference is free online on YouTube forever for you guys, so that you can watch it all whenever you want to, inshallah. And yeah, just keep an eye on what's happening on the YouTube channel as well. Share if you like this, subscribe if you haven't done already, press that like button, and let us know what you enjoyed and if you have any questions. All right then, since no one said anything, I'm going to go now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.